Okay, well, welcome to lesson number 4. Today we're going to take some time to talk about states of matter. Now, all matter is basically anywhere that we look, everything is made of matter, okay? And all matter comes in one of 3 states. It comes as a solid, as a liquid, or a gas, okay? And we need to understand a few properties about these 3 types of matter. The first one is, if we look at the solid, is a solid has its own shape. So if I was to take something solid, like this marker, and place it inside of a container, it still has its own shape. It doesn't change the shape at all by putting it in a container. The other thing is the volume. So the volume stays the same, it doesn't change, it has its own volume, the solid does. And then the third property is it has mass. So if we put it on a scale, we can measure its mass. The next type of matter is a liquid. If I pour a liquid into a container, it takes the shape of the container. So it's not necessarily come with an actual shape itself. It has its own volume, okay? So if I pour this very carefully into another container that's shaped differently, it's going to take the shape of the different container, but it's also going to have the same volume as what it had in this container. And then it also has mass. So again, I could put it on a scale and measure its mass. With a gas, well, I can take gas and put gas into this container, okay? It's going to fill the whole container. It takes up all the space that it's in there. If I put it into another container, it's going to fill that whole container. So for its shape, it has no shape of its own. It basically takes the shape of the container it's in. It has no fixed volume. Okay, because again, the gas spreads out in the container it's in, but it has mass. We can measure its mass, okay? And so when we look at how we change from state to state, we do that in a few ways. I'm just going to move this up so that we can see it. Okay, so a solid, to go from a solid like an ice cube to a liquid, that's melting. To go from a liquid to a solid, so if we had water and put it in a freezer, we'd freeze it, and that would be going to solid. To go opposite, gas, to go from a gas to a liquid, that's like condensation, so those little droplets you see on your window on the morning dew, okay? And then evaporation is when that gas evaporates up into a liquid, okay? Now, the 2 new words that we need to learn are how a solid goes to a gas, and that word is sublimation, okay? So sublimation is when we go from a solid to a gas. So we can look at, doesn't happen very often, but if you've ever been to have a wart removed at the doctor's, it's solid ice that they use, and they attach a Q-tip in it, and it becomes a gas when they apply it to your foot, and that removes the wart through the dry ice, okay? Gas to a solid is something called deposition. And if you've ever seen dry ice on a stage for a concert, okay, it usually starts as a gas, but then you can see like almost solid like clouds out on the stage as we're going to that. So those are the stages of states of matter, okay? Solid, liquid, and gas, that's our 3 types of matter. And then this is how we move from each state. The next lesson, we're going to take some time to talk about particle theory and how particles change depending on what state of matter that we're in. Okay? So you may now go on to your activity for today is on the computer. You will find the link to that on the QR code on the back, or go to the About section on your Google Classroom. See you later.